Welcome to Channel 17, the Town of Colonie Government Channel.
Okay, welcome to Getting to Know You. Today we're going to be talking to members from Albany Civic Theater. So welcome. We have Tom King and Katie Weinberg and Dan Stott. So welcome. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
I'm going to give your titles. I know you guys do everything there. Act, direct, take tickets, do the programs. You probably mop the floor too. But Tom is president, is your official title, but again, do all these things. Katie's recording secretary, and Dan is a director and
a board member.
Yeah, board. Oh, you're on the board. Okay. Yeah. So, why don't we? I'll just tell people quick, before we get going, because we talked about this last time you guys were here. If you go to the website albanycivictheater.org, theater with an ER, and not to be confused with Albany Civic in Oregon.
Yes.
So there was a story about that last time, but.
Yeah, she's on the board now.
Oh, Katie, you're on the board too?
Yeah.
Okay. If you click on About Act, you can get a little bit of the history. You guys have been around since the mid-'50s, but we won't talk about that this time. And we met Katie and Tom last time, so why don't we start with Dan a little bit. How did you get involved in Albany Civic and,
I came down for Taming of the Shrew when they did that in 2006, May of 2006. And I played Tranio, and I got to know all these fine people. They're great to work with, and since then I've slowly crept in and done a little bit more work and a little bit more work. And then last year I directed Hot L Baltimore, which was a lot of fun.
Hot L Baltimore got a lot of great reviews.
Yes.
And, so now we're going to talk about the 09-010 season, and you're doing, as we speak, we're filming this on September 29th. So the first play is up and running here. It's The Hollow by Agatha Christie. Next up, we have 5 women wearing the same dress, and that's written by Alan Ball, who created 6 Feet Under, and he wrote the movie American Beauty, and he's got a show on HBO now about vampires or something.
True Blood, yeah.
And Katie's directing that, and we'll talk about that. That's going to be November 6th through November 22nd. And then next February 12th through February 28th, Merchant of Venice, by Shakespeare, of course. And then Dan's going to be directing that. And next May 7th through May 23rd, Our Town by Thornton Wilder. So I thought we could talk about, since you guys are all on the board and you all act, direct, and do everything, why don't we talk about how do you pick a season? You could maybe each give your little perspective. Tom is president. You guys are all, tell us the process of how you pick a season.
Shall I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
We have a artistic director. Is that
Yeah.
right? Yeah, that's it. And she appoints, or that position appoints, a place selection committee. And we invite people to submit plays to us. When do we start doing that?
Like November.
Like in November.
So when people come to one of your shows, you have a little suggestion
They're mailed,
box.
they're dropped
Okay.
off, whatever. And the place selection committee gets them and reads them. And then what happens?
Well, who's on the committee?
Well, I think what the artistic director does is appoints a chair.
Okay.
Right.
And according to our bylaws, there has to be, I think, 2 board members and 2 non-board members on the selection committee. And the president and the artistic director are ex officio members. They don't get a vote, but they're there. And so then the play selection committee, once they're all assembled, read all the plays, discuss them, come up with a slate of potential plays for the next season and submit that to the board.
And how many would you work from? How many were submitted or suggested?
Last year, I think we worked through about 20 plays.
20. And you have someone, you guys actually read all of them? Or
It's some of them, if we've already read them, we don't read them again.
for Our Town, you probably don't have to read Our Town.
Yeah, right.
Some of them are multiple submissions too. We'll
Okay.
get several directors that'll submit the same piece.
All right. So then what's the next step before we get to the 4 you have this year?
We submit it to the board, and the board has till our next meeting the following month to read the plays, see if they agree with the slate. If there's no need for that month wait, then...
I mean, do you guys wrangle over Do some plays have strong advocates when you're meeting?
Well,
what we try to
certainly.
do.
This play.
The Keeley and Do, the selection of Keeley and Do created some controversy.
Oh, that's why you talked about that.
Because of the subject matter of the play.
And I think we try to stay within sort of, we want to do classical plays and also maybe one or two like contemporary, modern, edgy plays, because we want to attract a whole diverse range of audience
I noticed
members.
your season this year. You have Agatha Christie, you have Alan Ball, who I guess that would qualify for the modern, edgy. Of course, Shakespeare and Thornton Wilder. So you got a pretty wide range. How did you get to these four specifically? Was there any?
I think the committee just read all of them and decided, what would fit best into our season and what sort of plays go together well. Because we couldn't do like all comedies.
That's true.
We couldn't do all mysteries, so we sort of had to pick and choose what would fit
And
well.
we've been doing Agatha Christie pretty much last 3 years.
It seems like you've had one the last couple.
A few, yeah. Not every year, but yeah.
We try to get one mystery at least per year, one comedy at least per year, to just to appeal to the audience base and have something different for them each time they come to visit.
So, my question is, since all of you guys direct, besides doing all this stuff, I don't know if this is the right question, but now what comes first, the play or the director? I mean, what do you?
The play definitely comes
The
first.
play comes first, and then, since you guys have all directed, how do you sort of say, I want to do this one, or do they have someone in mind when you're?
Generally, I think we try to stick with folks that have submitted a play to the committee. If they've submitted a play, it's kind of hard to take it away from them and say,
In other words,
somebody else
did you
do it.
submit 5 women wearing?
No, I did.
Oh, okay.
She did.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, yeah.
I'm sorry.
But he submitted Merchant of Venice.
So you did, okay.
So,
And then did Carol want to do?
Yes.
Okay, so.
Usually the person that submits a play is also submitting it because they want to direct it.
Yeah, I see.
So,
okay. Well, since, again, this is great because you guys all do so much. You're all directing. What attracted you to the plays that you pick? Like, for example, this play, 5 women wearing the same dress.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me why you wanted to do this?
Well, last season I directed Keeley and Do, which is a very heavy, draining kind of play to see.
I mean, was that about abortion?
Yes.
Okay.
Very heavy, and I wanted to direct, if I was allowed the opportunity by the play selection committee, to do something fun and light and comedic or whatever. And the play it's just really well written. It's just very sharp and very witty, and all the characters are very different. And
is this something that Alan Ball wrote before American Beauty and 6 Feet Under?
I'm not sure when 6 Feet Under was written, but this play was written in '93.
Okay.
So I think it was before. There's no blood and gore and vampires in this play.
Well, this play is going to be in November 6th through the 22nd. So why don't you give us a little sneak preview of what it might be about, so people watching might want to.
It's about 5 bridesmaids, excuse me, who are all in this woman's wedding, and none of them want to be in the wedding. Okay. They all despise it. They all despise the bride, and it takes place in Knoxville, Tennessee, so it's a little southern action, and they're wearing hideous dresses.
They're all matching dresses.
Exactly identical dresses, and so it's sort of about their relationships and how different they are, but how they're not really that different.
But are they all all good friends and everything?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
So they don't even. And what,
Some of them know each other, but not all of them.
And then they're all locked up in one room, hiding away.
Yep, they're all trying to escape the reception in the bedroom of the younger sister of the bride.
Well, that sounds like it could be.
It's very
fun.
funny. Yes.
And now, Dan, you're taking on Merchant of Venice. I mean, what more can you say? Tell us about why you wanted to do this play, or maybe you have experience with Shakespeare.
I do have a little bit of experience with Shakespeare. Shakespeare's one of my passions. I work with Schenectady County Community College, who has a program that's geared around Shakespeare. And once a year, we go out to Virginia and we work with the American Shakespeare Center, which is they work in original practices style, which is how they would have worked back in Shakespeare's time. And we're going to try to bring a taste of that to Albany Civic with Merchant of Venice.
You're not having men play the women's parts, are you?
No, I don't think we're going to go that far, because we're going to be short on ladies' roles as it is. But So Shakespeare is, something that I think is going to do really well for us. Last time we did it with Taming the Shrew, it was pretty well.
Really good.
Now, what were you saying? What was that term you used about
original practices?
Yeah. What was that again?
That's how Shakespeare would have worked in his time. They worked very different from the way that we work in theater now. What they would have had would have been a shortened rehearsal process. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't receive full copies of the play. Actors would only get their lines and 3 syllables of the line before them. So there's a discovery process that happens through that.
Okay.
And we've also found that Shakespeare wrote it that way for a reason.
Weren't they all the company always doing 5 or 6 plays at once, or their repertoire, or whatever?
Absolutely correct. They would run 5 to 6 plays a week, and it would constantly be changing.
Oh, okay.
And that's we don't work that way anymore at all in theater.
Well, now for community theater, do they usually do Shakespeare? I mean, I'm not. Is there anything different?
This is only in our 58 or 59 years of existence. This is our second Shakespeare play.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
The first one was Taming of the Shrew a couple of years ago.
I didn't know that.
And was that met with?
It was great.
Good.
The costumes were great. The acting was great.
Okay.
The set was great, and it was it was really met with a lot of.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And you probably don't have to pay a fee to get the rights.
Absolutely
to the
not.
That's positive.
Absolutely not. And that's
a great way to save money.
That also goes into deciding on what plays to take. I mean, half of our season we don't have to pay any royalties because they're in the public domain.
This year, our town.
Our town
is
as
public
well.
domain also.
Oh, that's a public
so
domain.
So there's no royalties on that one.
Is something that's in the public domain like Hotel Baltimore? Are the fees are they a lot?
Well, it's $60 or $75 a performance. So we do 9 shows or 10 shows. So
for a place like Albany Civic, that would be a lot of money.
Yeah,
it turned $700 a show.
Yeah.
4 shows is almost $3,000 a year.
And I know from going to your theater, the ticket prices aren't that steep, so it's really a good deal. So the process of, maybe I should ask you about the last play, Our Town. Why did Carol want to do this?
Well, it was because. It was something that she had it in her mind for years. It's it's a classic. Let's face it.
Oh yes,
it's a pretty easy show to do as far as sets concerned and that kind of thing.
Well, there's no sets.
Yeah.
So it just appealed to her.
And are you going to be? It's not till next May, but are you going to be doing it sort of the way with literally no set or just minimal? I've seen it done.
Yeah, it's very minimal.
Okay,
I think that's what she has in mind.
Okay, so you save money on that. No fee and no set.
One of the reasons that the season selection committee was so interested in that play was because, although it's a classic and often done in the theater, it hasn't been done in this area in a while. So it presents an opportunity.
Yeah. We also look for that as well.
Well, I'm looking forward to see it because I think I've seen every filmed version there is of it, and I've never seen it live, so I'm coming to that one. So
very cool.
Probably the other ones too, because I too like Shakespeare very much. Well, I notice on your website when you talk about you have auditions, which are 3 months before each performance, and these anyone can audition.
Oh yeah.
And all the information's on the website, albanycivictheater.org. Theater with an ER. I keep saying that.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
And we encourage,
it's really important to know that we really invite everybody to come to auditions. We don't precast. Once in a while, a director might have someone in mind for a role. I think in Hot L Baltimore, out of how many roles were in it?
Like 15 out of 15
roles, and 13 of them were new folks.
13 out of 15 were new folks to the theater.
Okay.
And not only that, but one of the people that played in that play is going to do costumes for Katie's show.
Oh, okay.
So they're more and more involved.
So you're bringing in new
blood.
New blood. That's
in my show, out of the 6 characters, 4 of them are new to the theater.
New to Albany Civic Theater.
Yeah, new to Albany Civic.
Oh, that's good.
Sometimes
in community theater, sometimes you see the same people and et cetera. So it sounds like you guys.
Well, part of our mission is to advance the education of theater, and that's why we encourage a lot of folks to come down and audition and be part of what we do, because that's the best way for us to teach is by doing.
All right. So for people watching, the auditions are 3 months before each play. The dates are on the website. So now that we have the play and the director, what we have left, what is the let's see, the steps, now that they're in place, like I meant to say. So what happens between that and opening night, I guess you could say, besides,
Well,
total chaos, maybe?
You have to get a set designer. You have to get a costume designer. You have to get somebody to do sound and lights.
Okay, so this is...
And, that's not often easy to do, but, we're able to do it.
And I think last time you guys were here, it's all volunteers.
Oh, yeah.
So if anyone wants to volunteer, they're always looking for volunteers for all these kinds of things.
Come on down.
Yeah.
And, of course, how do you fit in? I don't think we talked about this last time. How do you fit in rehearsal with people? Everyone has full-time jobs, and everyone is doing this. They're not getting paid, out of the love of theater. And how do you do rehearsal? And many people, I'm sure, have families, have kids, have...
In Hot L, we had a person that was coming from Pittsfield every night. Every year.
Okay.
I have an actress coming from Mayfield.
From
Really?
Mayfield?
Johnstown.
Johnstown.
Something like
up
that.
there, yeah.
Someplace. Yeah. It's hard. It's hard.
It relies on the people that are taking part in the play
The commitment.
to commit to doing it, and we generally run 4 rehearsals per week if possible.
So how would you, for a typical 4 rehearsals a week? Okay. And do you use the same space that the current show might be running on?
Well, Dan has told me that it's bad luck to rehearse on someone else's stage, which I didn't know until about a week ago.
I've never heard that
So
theater superstition either.
I don't know. You might just be pulling my chain. I'm not really sure. But of course, I have started to believe it. So I'm rehearsing in the lobby of the theater currently for my
Lobby.
show.
Now that is a pretty small lobby.
But it's sort of fun to play with space, and
Okay.
if they're really close, how does that make them react, and if they're far apart, things like that. So.
You're not rehearsing while the other one's going on, though.
No, let's not go crazy.
So you have, how far ahead? I know the auditions are 3 months before the play. How far ahead?
If you're lucky.
If you're
Mine were 2.
2, okay. How far ahead? For example, your play starts November 6th, and today's September 29th. Have you started rehearsing?
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay. So you start pretty much ahead.
Yes.
And
As soon as
the
possible.
current show will close this Sunday. It will run Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 3 o'clock, October the 4th.
It ends October 4th.
Right.
Okay.
And the set will be struck. It'll be removed
Okay.
that day. And then Katie will have access to the stage
Oh, okay,
without
then-
somebody else's set being there.
Right.
So you get more or less a whole month before you open to do all
The set will be built and Katie can rehearse.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. And then you have a sort of a gap until now. Have you had the auditions for Merchant of Venice? Haven't.
No, the auditions for Merchant of Venice
That's
are
right.
the week after the opening of 5 Women.
November 9th and November 10th. So this will
Right.
be on before that. So anyone watching, if you want to be in that.
And
that's
then
in
we
February.
have a little extra time with that show because there's Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's involved in the middle of that.
You have
so
a gap.
we kind of plan for a little breathing space for the holidays and rehearse around them.
Okay. Well, now, other than, so there's the 09-10 season. You should, the theater's at 235 2nd Avenue. It's an old firehouse. People watching, you probably been by it many times. We will show that when you. It's a nice small theater, I think, if this is correct. I'm on the screen, I was counting. There's 112 seats, is that right?
123.
Oh, 123.
122.
All right, so none of us can count.
Somewhere between
Is it
120.
Something like that. Yeah.
And now, other than your season, you always do 4 plays, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you have other events, in May and June and July. Why don't you tell us about some of these other things that you guys do? And again, it's on the website, Albany Theater, AlbanyCivicTheater.org. You have Family Weekend, Directors Showcase, Playwrights Showcase. Why don't you talk about these events? Because I think...
The Director's Showcase I can talk about pretty easily because I was in the last one, and it's one of the ways we recruit new directors to come and work with Albany Civic. We have them come in and direct one-act pieces with light set, light costumes, very, very low technology, and then we present it one night to the public. And last year we did half of the complete works of Shakespeare abridged.
Okay.
And it was really well received.
Yes.
The director did a great job.
So. I think we talked about this last time. Katie, you were in. You did one.
Yep.
That's how you got to do. What's the play again?
Keely and Do.
Keely and Do.
Yeah.
So these are a chance for people to show they can direct a scene. Now, can anyone?
And again, we invite people to submit plays.
Yeah.
You mean, and they would be the director.
Like if you wanted to direct and you had a particular one act.
Oh, I see what you mean.
you could submit it, and
Okay.
it would be read, and you would be
Now-
considered.
And we do advertising for submissions, and we also once we have it's set ready to go, we do advertise. I think just as much as we do for our main stage productions,
And then
to get people to come.
is the person, say I chose to want to do this, not that I would, are they responsible for bringing the actors and doing everything, or?
Yes.
So it's up to you.
They can have auditions if they want to, but they usually can just get a few people to do
And
it.
and how many were done last year?
Last year we did one director showcase.
Usually one person.
But I mean, how many? Oh, it's only one scene. Oh, I see.
It's one act. It's a one-act play or an act from a
I see what you
larger
mean.
play.
Yeah.
But it's only it isn't several.
No.
Oh, I thought you said it was in one night. There was several people that it.
No.
And then one last year. So is this going to be your next hot director coming up?
Hopefully.
Could be.
Hopefully.
Okay, so that's the director showcase. Now you have the playwright showcase, which I'm thinking is probably very similar.
Very similar,
Yes,
yes.
we invite people to submit original plays.
Original.
Local playwrights.
One act plays. I think they have to run 30 minutes or
Something like that.
All right, so not a complete. It could be a scene or a section or an act.
Yes,
okay.
exactly. And it's nice for them, I think, especially the playwrights, to get feedback from the audience. Like if they didn't understand something or they had questions about something, it can help them do more revisions on the play. and things
After
like
the
that.
performance,
Yeah.
The people stay for.
the people can stay and ask questions of the director, or the author, or the director.
And then, and just like the other one, is this person also responsible for getting the actors and doing everything?
Yeah.
Okay, and is that only a one?
Yes, it is.
Usually a Sunday in July.
Sunday afternoon in July.
Now, have you guys ever done this where it was an excerpt from a complete play that you ended up doing the whole play? Have you?
Oh boy.
Like doing the whole play for our main stage season?
Yeah. Has that happened?
I don't think
I don't think
so.
it's ever. I don't remember it ever happening.
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
It's been suggested, but I don't
Okay.
think it's ever happened.
Not recently.
So for any budding directors or playwrights, they can get involved in this.
Yes.
So and how many people, maybe like for the directors, how many people submitted that you chose that one from? Is there a lot?
Well, the artistic director chooses.
Oh, okay.
It's just that person's call, pretty much.
And then how many for the playwrights were submitted?
Same. She
We
had
got
a
a
bunch
lot
this year.
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
20. I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's-
She had a
It's a
bunch.
surprising number of local playwrights.
Yes.
Do you ever have like open readings of these kinds of things? Have you ever done anything like that over there?
Well, the playwright showcase is a stage
it's a
reading.
stage
Oh, okay, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right.
The director showcase is without scripts. In other
Okay.
words, they
They
rehearse,
rehearse, okay.
learn the lines.
So now, and the last thing is family weekend. What is that all about?
It changes every year. I mean, I think our ultimate goal is always to bring some kind of show to the community, to a school, things like that. Sometimes we have, we rehearse an entire production of like a children's show. We did Greatest Americans of the 20th century, and
And you go out to a school?
And
or
this
Yeah,
one year
we did go to an elementary school
Okay.
down in
South End,
yeah,
yeah.
Albany.
And I think last year, over the summer, we did a show called The Worlds of Shakespeare, which was just a sort of a free show, and we sort of counted that as our family weekend.
Okay.
And we also brought scenes of that to a school.
To the middle school.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys
So
sort
it changes every year.
of doing some outreach.
Yes.
Because we do like to get out to a school with something.
Oh, okay.
And the other thing we did with Inherit the Wind, was it? We had the choir from the Myers Middle
Oh,
School
right.
That's right.
do a couple songs that we used.
That's
for
right. In the
show.
play, there was aren't the townspeople singing?
The old time
Yeah.
religion or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah. So,
Well, that's
so
good.
yeah.
It's always good to see kids. I don't know if this summer you went over to Lenox, the Shakespeare and Company. They were doing sort of a 12th night that was really heavy on the comedy, and there's a lot of kids were at it.
That's
They
nice.
were loving it. So
That's good.
it was really good. Now another thing we can talk about. The opening night of each show, or the preview, is called Pay What You Will Preview. And now, your ticket prices are very good. I mean, I don't want to, but what is this all about? I mean, people can pay less or more than the ticket price.
Absolutely.
Pay whatever
we,
they
we
want.
put a little donation box and a sign, pay what you will, and
Same thing for our family weekend, playwright showcase and director showcase. It's
It's
all
just sort
pay
of
what you will.
Pay what you will.
No reservation required.
Okay.
Just show
No
up.
reserved seats. It's just, you come and you find a seat and you enjoy the show.
Good.
It gives an opportunity for people that wouldn't normally be able to get to see the show, an opportunity to see the show. Usually it's populated by a lot of local actors who are busy with their own shows and don't have time to come or can't come during the regular run, and they'll come to a preview.
Well, speaking of local actors I was noticing, maybe we could talk a little bit before we end here. Theater in the Capital District, it seems to be healthy in the sense that there's a number of community theaters. There's a couple professional theaters, and Proctor's has the professionals or whatever come in for the touring shows. What would you want to say about theater in the Capital District? Is it at the moment, I guess you could say?
There's so many.
Seems to be in the
There's
last
so
4 or 5 years, a lot of groups have started up.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. Yeah, Schenectady Civic is doing Rebecca, which opens in October. The Capital Rep is presenting the Seafarer.
Yeah,
There's all these little,
Slock's working on Joseph,
little.
I think.
Which one?
Slock's working on Joseph.
Right, Joseph.
that's Schenectady Light Opera
Yeah.
Company.
And they're all like smaller theaters, like Confetti Stage, and not smaller per se, but Confetti Stage and Homemade Theater and
Classic.
Classic Theater Guild and
Okay, so there's a lot going on.
all of them. And I think it's great. And I think the more theaters you get to see a show, the better off you are.
That's certainly true. Well, that seems to be about all we can. Anything else you guys want to add about Albany Civic Theater? I mean, they're always looking for volunteers. If you go to the website, albanyscivictheater.org, there's all kinds of information. And like I say, their ticket prices are good. It's a nice small theater. 235 Second Avenue. And I'll just recap the season. Right now you're in the middle of the first play, so this will be on probably when that finishes. So I'll just go to the next ones. 5 Women Wearing the Same Dress by Alan Ball, November 6th through November 22nd, directed by Katie. Merchant of Venice by William Shakespeare, February 12th through February 28th in 2010, directed by Dan. And then Our Town, May 7th through May 23rd by Thornton Wilder. And on the website, there's auditions and Family Weekend, Director Showcase, Playwright Showcase, volunteers. You can become a member. So I'd like to thank you 3 for coming, Tom and Katie, second
Thank
time.
you.
Thanks a lot. And hopefully people watching will come out to Albany Civic this year.
We would love that.
Yes, we would love that.
All right, well, thanks for watching, getting to know you, and we'll see you next time.